Since the release of Slimerancher, the game has received very positive reviews. So much that on Steam, it is rated overwhelmingly positive, something that very few games are able to do. Impressive it is. What about the more negative side of the game? The negative reviews that people have posted. Are these reviews justifiable or just people salty with the game?
You're worthless.
In this video, I'm going to investigate whether or not these negative reviews are just plain mean or they have a point. Before I get started, I want to say that please don't harass these people. They're just stating their opinion. They could be right or wrong, it doesn't really matter. These people have every right to share their thoughts about the game freely. Now with that statement out the way, let's get ranching. Let's start with the most recent ones. This person wrote, "Too much grind. Starts cutesy and all, but soon becomes a grind fest without the appropriate tools to make it manageable and fun." Okay, I could definitely see their point of view. The game is kind of grindy. Fun, but grindy. This person definitely is not wrong about that. And I don't think a lot of people like the grindiness of certain games. So I do think this person definitely has a point on that. The game has some minor grindiness to it that isn't for everyone. Okay, the next reviewer states, "Very cute. But in the late game, it feels like it was waste of my time by either forcing me to grind to unlock teleporters through slime science, which entails for devices to extract resources in real time or to walk across the entire map each time." This person isn't wrong about late game. Having two-way extractors is kind of a pain in the butt, but that's kind of the point of the game, isn't it? It encourages you to explore the area more while your resources is being collected. However, I could understand having to wait, 10 or 12 minutes for the extractor to start pumping resources? Within that amount of time, it becomes a tedious task of being your slimes, exploring, or essentially other things you probably need to do or force yourself to do, while resources to build those gadgets are being pumped, prairie or drilled. In many ways, it's not a perfect system, but it is something for you to be excited for on what sort of gadgets you could build upon waiting for those precious resources. Even then, you don't know what sort of resources you will gain depending on where you put those extractors. I could definitely sympathize with this person. It's a fair critique. Next, it's a little bit more longer, so get yourself comfortable. They wrote, 4 out of 10. It is extremely cute and it is fun for a little while, but pretty quickly turns grindy. I think the ceiling of what can be upgraded automatic is just too low, so that even with everything set up and missed out, there is a lot of repetitive stuff to do. There is also a type of things you need to look around for to progress the game, gordos. And I wish there was some alternative to just looking compass that is expensive to craft but will navigate to. I'm all for exploration, but I don't love being unable to progress without thoroughly going back over explored areas to try to find the hidden things I missed. Okay, it sounds like this person had a hard time progressing through the game. Gordos can be very tricky to find. I think the hunter and the honey was the most difficult for me. I had to look up a YouTube video just to find them. They are very tricky to locate. And because this frustration of not finding these gordos, in which you need these types of gordos to progress due to them having a key, I could understand their frustration. Moving on, this review states, cut board super fast. We're just running circles over and over to grab some slimes, bring them back, feed them, and then run out and do it again 1,000 times. The only story is some email that aren't worth reading and a couple hologram letter things running in Circle Simulator. I got it for $6, played 3 hours. I guess it was worth it to not have to spend full price for this. I could definitely agree on the walking simulator. It is tedious having to go through your ranch, find slimes, back and forth, never really knowing what to do. That part I could definitely understand. As for the story, I do think it's genuinely very cute storyline. It's not, the most spectacular thing in the world, but it is something that the writers actually put some thought into it. My interpretation of story is that one door closes and the other one opens. What decision you make, there's always a sacrifice to it. It's the matter of what makes you happy in the long run. Maybe this person didn't really think too much about this story or wasn't really impressed with it, which I understand. It's not for everyone. I think I'm gonna read one more. Slime Rancher has great art, lots of personality, but playing it makes me feel like I am living in an endless nightmare. This is a management game. You catch slimes, you put them into staples, you feed them, and harvest their resources. Slimes require different fruits which can be farmed and will generate different resources. Those resources can't be sold, which you can use to buy upgrades for your ranch, meaning more slimes, more resources, more upgrades, etc. But there is not a lot of depth to any of it, and Slime Rancher's solution is to wind the loop of farming, feeding, gathering, selling so tight that it actually starts to become painful. Staples are of fruit, size, and limit amount. That may not sound so bad given there's only about 6 or 7 types of slimes, but they are all spaced just enough apart that moving between them takes a lot of effort. You can buy automatic feeders and harvesting tools, but these still require manual maintenance to fill with food and empty resource tanks, on top of it always being more efficient to still do everything by hand. There is a whole huge world out there to explore, almost like a Metrovania, but eventually you reach a point where you are stuck running around your ranch just dealing with harvesting food, feeding slimes, gathering resources, and selling stock that you will spend hours never even leaving the gates. Now that you will want to, given most of the world is incredibly same despite the intrinsic, and you will have access to most slime breeds within the first hour or two of play. And no matter how efficient you are, you never feel efficient enough. There's always more crops, always more resources, and never enough upgrades or inventory space to help you stay on top of it all. Once I realized how many hours I spent running between the same 7 places, 7 floors of land without needing to leave my ranch, I actually genuinely began to feel like I was losing my mind. There are missions that request certain types of resources or slimes or whatever, but the rewards for finishing those missions are nearly worthless. These carrots means nothing when I have a plot of land that automatically spits out 12 plus carrots every few minutes. Eventually, you unlock a science center which opens up a whole new facet to the gameplay, with enemies raiding your ranch, new resources, new toys to gather them with, and new upgrades. But by then, the thought of a new treadmill after I can myself ragged on the last treadmill made smoke begin pouring out of my ears. It really cannot be understood just how tightly they let you wind the loop. You will feel like you are absolutely destroying yourself in service of this dumb branch, but it never feels like enough. You will have excess amounts of everything except the few things you truly read. You are constantly caught in a perpetual state of catch-up pockets, always stuffed full, and any small break from the loop to unwind a little will just mean more work and less profit when you come back. It is maddening. Eventually, it broke me. I realized I was not having fun, not for a while, so I quit, and I never looked back. I do apologize if my reading is very poor. It's kind of hard to read the text sometimes. Anywho, oh boy, where to begin? I think the first part I could start with is enemies invading your ranch. Are you sure we're playing the same game? Because I don't remember any enemies invading my ranch. Unless you're referring to tars, but there's no mechanic in the game where tars invade your home. Secondly, despite the review I'm reading, it sounds like they were very happy going through the tediousness of back and forth, causing them to, I guess, crazy? I don't know. I understand that the game is very grindy, but not at any point did I kind of go insane. How this person wrote the review, it sounds like they went insane for a brief moment. I don't know, I'm probably reading it too much. It sucks that you didn't really enjoy the game, and I'm sorry if the game itself caused you to become uncomfortable. Have you guys noticed that these reviews have something in common? The game is grindy, there's nothing really to do late game, and it is a huge walking simulator. Are these reviews justifiable? Yes, to a certain degree. Many of them have very valid critiques about the game. After all, no game is perfect. With Slime Rancher 2 around the corner, Monami Park more than likely will take some of these critiques to heart in order to improve on the sequel. Hopefully, they could improve on the grindiness, repetitiveness, and hopefully do more things than just walking around. Let's get our fingers crossed for the best. What about you, dear ranchers? What are your thoughts about these negative reviews? Are they correct about their critique? Let me know. A big thank you to Jill for being a huge supporter. If you want to support the channel, I will provide a link to my Ko-fi. Like always, stay weekly.